Hi, my name is Nguo and this is Life in Style. Today, we are going to discover the world of cognac. I am here to meet Ugo Messi, Brand Ambassador of Martell, who is going to take us on a journey of all things cognac and of what makes Martell unique.
We're going to tell you everything you need to know about cognac and about Martell in particular. And we might be able to make a couple of cocktails at the end.
So we are here with Messi and we're going to learn all things cognac. First of all, what is cognac?
Very simply put, cognac is a type of brandy only produced in France in a small region called Cognac, which is actually the same size as Nairobi. And there's many rules that apply to the process of making cognac. First of all, cognac is a product of the double distillation of white grapes, okay? So white wine. It's always a product of double distillation in copper pot stills. After this, after the distillation process, we're gonna age that in French oak barrels. This is another characteristic. So I know you want to start making cognac in your backyard, but you won't be able to do that unless you come to France.
Okay, so it's very geographical and
Yes.
there's a system to it basically.
So all the cognac houses really want to defend the cognac name. This is why there are so many rules that apply to the process of making cognac.
But that's a good thing then, because it means that the product at the end of the day is something that's excellent.
I believe so, yeah?
Okay.
You'll try it later.
Yes.
You tell me.
I will. So let's talk a little bit about Martell.
Yeah.
This is over 300 years, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
300 years of producing cognac. That is quite a feat to be able to last, that's generation after generation. What makes Martell so special?
So first of all, Martell, as you said, is more than 300 years old. So it was actually created in 1715. It is, because of that, it is the oldest of the great houses of cognacs. Martell is very specific because I really like Martell because of the image it has. So first of all, you can see on the bottle our logo. There's a swift.
Yes.
It's a type of bird, a type of swallow, a bird that travels, a bird that migrates. So I really like the fact that this bird is all about resilience. It's all about traveling and reaching the world. That's what I really like about the brand itself. The products, I really love the fact that there's duality in the house of Martell, of being both very traditional, faithful to its tradition, to its roots, to its legacy, and at the same time being very innovative. And that's what I really like. Talking about innovation, we'll talk about this later, but Martell Swift is a really good example of how we can be innovative in a world, in an industry that is not perceived as being very innovative in general.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's true. So let's start talking a little bit about, we have 4, right?
Yes.
We can start from here. Just talk a little bit about, if I buy this, what should I expect? And then...
Alright, the first thing you need to understand about cognac is any brand of cognac, any product, any cognac you'll find in the market will be from Martell or from the competition, will fall into one of these 3 categories. So you have VS, then you have a VSOP, and you have the XO category. Okay? So there are 3 categories. Unlike whiskey, whiskey you have age statements.
Yes, yeah.
Unlike whiskey, we talk about quality statements. So it's more about the quality of the product, because producing cognac is very difficult because you have to rely on the weather, on the type of year you're gonna have to produce the wine in the first place. So it is very difficult, and you can only produce cognac once in a year because of the harvest and there's a specific timing to respect. This is why it's very difficult to produce. So about the categories, VS stands for very special. So this cognac you have here, Martell VS Single Distillery, is, in a nutshell, if you keep your comparison with whiskey, it would be the equivalent of a single malt. That being said, it means it's been produced in one distillery, so we have a better expression of the unique Martell distillation style. So that's what makes Martell VS Single Distillery different. It is not the same Martell VS as we used to have.
Yeah, actually that's what I was going to ask, because there was Martell VS and now you have what is, I guess, VSSD?
VSSD,
Yeah.
VS single distillery indeed.
Yes.
So when we first brought this bottle to the market, it was still perceived as a disruptive bottle because of the shape that was very unusual. And actually, it's a disruptive bottle, but inspired by our past. That's what makes it interesting. You see, those small bottles are called montres. We use them in the Cognac region. We've been using them for centuries to keep samples or to showcase graduation in color, to keep samples of the product. And those bottles have actually inspired the shape of this new bottle. So again, it is all about innovating and being faithful to the legacy.
I didn't know that existed, because the first time I saw this, I actually thought of the way the Japanese also have a similar style of bottles. So I thought maybe that was the inspiration, but it's good to know that it's actually going back to your own tradition.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you need to know about the taste, it is a new bottle, but it's also a new product inside, which means we really worked on developing a really good palette of aromas. So in here, in the Martell VS single distillery, you're going to have a really smooth taste. It's going to be very delicate, very balanced, and I'm sure you'll love it. The good thing about cognac, let me ask you, what is to you the best way to drink cognac? The only way?
I don't think there's an only way, but my favorite way to drink cognac would be mixed. So I really prefer to drink it that way, and if not, then in a cocktail, but generally.
That's a very good answer, thank you. The thing is, Martell cognac, or any spirit in the world you drink, the most important thing is to have it your way. That's very important. Just like if you go to a restaurant and you ask for a steak, you ask, I'd like to have it rare, medium rare, etc. So you have to have it your way. For cognac is a very versatile drink, so you can do a lot of things with it. That's what makes it wonderful. So cognac, you can have it neat, on the rocks, with a mixer, in a cocktail. And like for example, when I arrived to Kenya, I was in Meru, in the region of Meru, and I was in a club, and I saw someone putting hot water directly in the cognac. I was surprised, but again, who am I to tell you can't have your cognac like this? Yeah, it's all a matter of personal taste. I think. Yeah.
I've done that with vodka, never with cognac, but now
with vodka.
Yes, hot water.
Why?
It's great, like when you even with whiskey, when you have like a cold.
Make a hot
yeah, exactly. So now I'm like,
double.
I don't know, maybe there's some thought process to that. I could try that with cognac and see if it's
next time you try that.
Yeah, if it makes a difference. Okay, so now get into the Blue Swift. I know this is the latest from Martell.
So we launched it in April in Nairobi, in a secret location. It was quite a nice launch, I think.
It was.
Thank you. The thing about Martell Blue Swift is, again, it's very disruptive for the market. Martell Blue Swift is actually the first ever VSOP cognac finished in bourbon casks. Okay. So what we do, we produce VSOP cognac in France, using the French oak casks, okay? And after this process, we import casks that used to contain bourbon from Kentucky, and then we fill the bourbon cask with the Martell VSOP. The result of that, you're going to have all those bourbon notes, like caramelized notes, vanilla. It's going to be very toasty. What I really like about that is it's very smooth. It's very smooth. It's very surprisingly smooth. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Can't wait. I mean, I've had that before, but can't wait to have it with you.
We'll try it in a cocktail also.
Yeah. Actually, I've not had it.
Really?
No, I didn't. Yeah, in a cocktail, no. So first time.
You will.
Okay, so now we're moving into the XO category.
XO category indeed. So this product is actually our best-selling XO in the world. It's mostly sold in Asia, and because it's a key product created in 1912, so it's a really big product in terms of heritage, in terms of craftsmanship. So this is why we have it in the market. This is an XO, but it is different than this one. Martell Cordon Bleu, which means blue ribbon or blue sash. Look at that.
Oh yeah, it does have the sash.
See it? It's very much about the candied notes, so it's going to be very round, very mellow, again quite smooth. It's going to have a bit of spiciness, a bit of sweetness, so it's very good. And Martell XO you have here is more about we say the taste notes are more peppered, so it's more intense, more bold, more structured. But throughout the range, in general, we say that Martell is a balanced, complex, and elegant cognac.
Okay. So one question that I forgot to ask about, let's talk a little bit about like how long, in terms of, I know there's like, you said it's not really an age statement, but
we still have rules, obviously.
Yeah. So like what would make the VS, the VSOP, the XO, what in those categories?
Yeah, good question. So for any VS you'll find, any very special cognac you'll find in the world, you have to respect an age segment of at least 2 years old. So cognac is most of the times, it's always a type of blend. It's blended. We have 6 sub-regions in the cognac regions, and just like when you cook, you want to add some spices, some salt, some fruitiness, whatever. And we do the same thing with cognac. So we're going to select the best from the regions, and then blend that, and the best from the years. Because remember, cognac, the base of cognac is wine. And obviously the wines are going to be different from 1 year to another.
Yes.
So we have to select the best of the regions and the best of the years to blend the perfect cognac. We call blending the eau de vie, like blending the cognacs. So in a VS, so very special cognac, the youngest eau de vie, the youngest cognac used in the blend is supposed to be 2 years old. In a VSOP, it's supposed to be 4 years old. And for an XO, it's supposed to be 10 years old. That being said, all the big houses of cognac do more than what's expected from them. So for example, our cognac XO, the XO, can go up to 35 years of age.
Wow.
So it is a blend, but we have our own secret recipe.
You can tell me.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah, you can tell me. You can tell me later. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the design of the bottles, because clearly, it's very interesting to see the different designs. We can start with yes. What inspired such design?
Again, as I explained before, the design of the bottle of the VS single series was inspired by the shape of those montres, of those display bottles. So it's very classy, I think. It's quite bold, this is engraved here.
Yeah.
And the same goes with the Martell Blue Swift. It's even, it's very...
It's much...
It's much denser, it's much more bold, yeah?
Yeah. But I like the design. I think this is my favorite design.
The bottle of Martell Cordon Bleu is more a traditional style of bottle. As you can see, there's some wax here.
Yeah. What is that?
On the wax, you have the symbol of the house. So Martell, the house Martell, is very close to the word marteau in French, and marteau in French means hammer. This is why we have 3 hammers on the crest, on the symbol. Okay? And this bottle is going to evolve also for other markets, but it will still remain a rather classical type of bottle.
So you have 2 symbols then?
Yes.
So you have the one for the house?
Yeah.
And the Swift as well?
The Swift indeed. The Swift again, it's a type of bird. So let me go back to the roots. So Jean Martel, when he created the house in 1715, he was 21 years old, and he came from a small island, a British island. We still haven't taken back from the British, but it's very close to France. I still don't know why it's still British. Anyway. It's going to help me on a crusade to get it back. Yeah,
world politics can be very complicated.
Yes, it is. So on this island there was a lot of birds, a lot of those swifts. This island of Jersey. So this is why he chose that as a symbol, because it's the idea of reaching the world, and also because it reminded him of home.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like the stories like that. Okay, so then why in particular? Because I've noticed in terms of design, this one it's so prominent.
Yeah, it is.
Compared to the others, which seem to be sort of...
You see, on the other bottles, the accent is actually put on the Swift
on the
here,
Swift,
that is engraved.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is which is more interesting for us in terms of image of the brand and instead of the name, the name Blue Swift.
Yeah.
We really like to push in the world.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this. This looks like perfume.
It is a very prestigious bottle that some people think it look like a bit like a perfume flacon. You say flacon?
Yeah. Is this? I've seen like this is a very design that also other cognac houses use.
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason why this is?
The R-shaped bottle is more about the premiumness of the drink. Again, the range goes from BS to VSOP to XO. Okay, and the more you go through all the cognacs,
Yeah.
the more expensive it's gonna be. So the better looking the bottle is gonna be. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it's a prestige thing. Still, my favorite bottle is that one, but I guess this is still also a good design. So let's talk a little bit about market.
Yeah.
What in Kenya? Let's start with Kenya.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you have the information already, but which is the favorite in Kenya?
Am I allowed to share it? That's the question.
I don't know. If you want to tell me later.
I will. So now the favorite, the biggest selling. Okay, Kenya is a market for VS. Okay. It's for the VS category, which is the entry range. Quite interestingly, some people think cognac is a very expensive drink, very fancy, but you'll find it at the same price as some very good, some good whiskey. Yeah. For example, if I need to choose a type of whiskey, let's say it's Chivas 12, for example. This is gonna be the same price as Chivas 12.
Yeah.
So it is more accessible than people think it is.
Yeah. Okay. So and these are the ones. Is there any? Not necessarily Kenya, but is this as Blue Swift doing? I know it launched recently.
Yeah.
But is there a country out there that really loves Blue Swift or loves the XO?
We launched it recently. Kenya is actually going to be the only country in East Africa to have Blue Swift on its market, and the response on Blue Swift is already very, very good. We've been receiving tremendous feedback regarding this product. First of all, when people see the bottle being very disruptive again, some people from maybe some of the older generations, they believe this is not for me, I like my older Martell. But the thing is, from the moment they taste it, they understand. Because again, just like VS single distillery is another type of VS, this is not the same VSOP cognac because it's been finished in bourbon casks. It gives a really, really big amount of smoothness. It's quite sweet, it's very delicate, and at the same time it's very fruity. So people, when they try it, they really like it.
What about these ones? Are there countries that, I don't know, France maybe, loves?
Talking about France, this is quite interesting. Unlike champagne, where France is the #1 market for champagne, cognac is not very consumed in France. Not a lot of people drink cognac. Only maybe if you go to a restaurant, you need to have something at the end of the meal. We actually export 98% of the production of cognac to the big markets of Asia and America in general. And now Africa is really picking up, and that's what I really love, and that's actually the reason I'm here.
Yeah.
Because Kenya is a really, really big growing market, So it's very interesting for us to be here now because it's growing, and every day you see it's evolving. So the trend is really, really progressing.
Okay, that's exciting news.
I'm
excited.